This is Co. I'm making a couple quick videos here on various Premiere processes, and I'll try to divide them up so you'll only get a couple minutes for each. You're going to hear some background noise in each of these because I'm working from home and the kid's not in school for obvious reasons. So this one will just be just a kind of a little refresher on opening and importing media in Premiere. So I've got Premiere open here, new project. Make sure you give it a name first, that way you don't end up with a bunch of things called untitled. I'm going to call this one Robo Edit Test, and however you want to name them is up to you, but I do like to put a little project code at the beginning so everything sorts appropriately, or you can also find it easier. Also give it a location. So I don't want this on my C drive. I'm going to hit Browse, and I'm going to go to, let's do, for kicks, we'll do the D drive. And then I have some folders already, so I'm going to make a new folder and call this one Robo Edit Test. Select this folder. Don't need to change any of this stuff. Most of it's kind of legacy from the old days. And hit OK. All right, so now I'm in my project. So you remember, here is the source window, here is the program window, here's the timeline area, and here is kind of where your project assets will end up. So I can import a number of ways. I can double click here, which is my personal favorite way to do it, but you can also go to File, Import, and it'll bring up the window here, and then you have to navigate to your footage. I have made somewhere in here, I have made something, here we go, in this new folder, which should be labeled properly. Actually, let's label that properly. So I'm going to go over to I'm in Windows, by the way, but once we're in Premiere, everything's the same for a Mac. So I'm going to go to H, go to my new folder, and just rename it to Robo 1080. And then these are MXF files. So Robo was shot in 4K. Actually, it was shot in 6.5K. I converted it down to 4K for editing. But then for the purposes of these exercises, I made a bunch of 1080 files. So now we've got those. We can go to File, Import. Let's go down to H. There's my folder of 1080s, and I'm going to grab scene, I think it was 3 I wanted, just for test. So I'll open that up. And now it's in here. So just the media, I don't have any sequences yet. So the easiest way to start a sequence to make sure that you have the right settings is just to drag a piece of media in there like this. So I'm clicking and dragging, and it will put the file in there and make sure everything's in. You can kind of scrub through it. It also, look down here in the lower right, it takes a second for it to generate the waveform for the audio file. So don't be scared and think like, oh, my audio's gone. It just hasn't made a waveform for it yet. So as soon as that's done, then you'll see the waveform pop into the audio. But you can still hear it. Like, I hit play.
I like it.
You can hear that. Okay, and then you'll notice that it names the sequence that you make after whatever file you drag in there. So I actually don't want this file in there because I'm going to be editing pieces of it in a different process, but I can still rename this. So I just kind of double click on it slow, or click and hit enter. I'll call this Robo Edit Scene 3. There. I'm also going to wait till this peak file is done so you can see what the difference is once it actually shows up in here. You can zoom in from dragging here. You can also use plus and minus on the keyboard. Oh, there's our waveform file. And you can hit play, obviously.
Oh, thanks.
I'm going to cut this scene together, but I'll do that in a little different video. So this is just a couple minutes just to show you how to get this set up. So let me clear this out of here. My sequence is renamed. Now if I want to start working the footage, I'll just double click it and select in and out points here. But that's in the next video.